using psychedelics in dementia than there is in things like PTSD and major depression, where there is a lot of very interesting research, and some of it seems to be related to neuroplasticity in particular, sort of shutting off these kind of repetitive thought process networks, and then sort of triggering neuroplasticity, so that if you then direct it, and this is where it's really important. So anybody who kind of works in this field will tell you that it's not just about going out and taking a bunch of mushrooms. You have to then, you have to then sort of craft a response to think about what you experienced, and then start to direct that neuroplasticity in a useful way in order to like rebuild new connections. And so there is this idea that this could be useful in dementia. And part of that is because you're driving potentially some of these neuroplastic processes that tend to fail, like in dementia. So some people think that dementia is essentially, it's primarily driven by a loss of neuroplasticity. So you could kind of maybe trigger some of that. Two reasons, or things you might want to think about at the same time are that, first of all, you need to, like I said, direct that towards something, right? You can't just activate neuroplasticity and all of a sudden the brain like works again, right? You need to kind of help it rebuild networks, like with all the kind of stuff we've talked about. But also, you have to think about what are the other factors that may be contributing to that dementia in the first place. And so this is where I think any drug trial in dementia is more likely to be less successful than it could be, is if you're just treating kind of this final biological pathway without then addressing what other things resulted in the first place, you're likely to get less of a beneficial effect. So it's the same if you take an anti-amyloid medication, right? You're clearing proteins from the brain that we know contribute to Alzheimer's disease. If you don't then also address the other things that maybe resulted in them accumulating in the first place, or you don't stimulate the brain to kind of build new connections, you won't get the same kind of outcome. So I think it's very interesting. It's just kind of, if we're going to see the best possible outcome from those kinds of treatments, we need to make sure that we kind of tick all of those boxes at the same time if we can.
You talked